You are listening to the Albany State University Political Science Podcast with your host, Dr. Matthew Collins. The topic of this episode is How to Write a Social Science Research Paper, Part 2, the Annotated Bibliography. The purpose of an annotated bibliography is to help you learn about the topic by summarizing and evaluating sources. It can also help you organize your research and identify potential sources for further research. What does an annotated bibliography do? 1. An annotated bibliography reviews the literature, summarizing and evaluating the main points of sources on the topic. 2. An annotated bibliography identifies connections, finding connections between sources and potential variations in interpretations. 3. An annotated bibliography provides context, placing original research in a historical context. 4. An annotated bibliography demonstrates reading quality, shows the scope and depth of your reading. 5. An annotated bibliography highlights sources, identifying sources that may be useful to others. 6. An annotated bibliography shows examples of the resources available on a topic. 7. An annotated bibliography provides a place to start when you're doing a research writing project by summarizing and explaining the relevance of sources. What do you include in an annotated bibliography? First, a list of sources on a topic. Secondly, a brief summary of each source. Thirdly, an evaluation of each source, including its relevance, accuracy, and quality. Fourth, a statement on how the source will be used in your project. Fifth, your reactions to the source. Keep this in mind. This is important. Listen up. You ready? Your annotated bibliography will become your final research paper reference list. When an annotated bibliography becomes a reference list, it essentially loses the descriptive annotations that follow each source, leaving only the fully formatted citation information, just like a standard reference list at the end of a paper. In other words, you remove the summary and evaluation of each source, keeping only the bibliographic details needed to locate the source. Generally, each reference source annotation is approximately 100 to 300 words in length, one paragraph. However, your professor may have different expectations, so it is recommended that you clarify the assignment guidelines. An annotation may include the following information: a brief summary of the source's strengths and weaknesses, its conclusions, why the source is relevant in your field of study, its relationships to other studies in the field, and an evaluation of the research methodology if applicable. Thank you for listening to the Albany State University Political Science Podcast with your host, Dr. Matthew Collins. Please get started early this week on your readings, discussions, assignments, or anything else that you need to do to be proactive in your academic courses. Be the student that asks why. Invest in yourself. You can do this work. Looking back, you will see that your self-investment was the best thing you ever did. Not only for yourself, but for your family, friends, community, nation, world, and universe. The topic of this episode has been How to Write a Social Science Research Paper, Part 2, Annotated Bibliography.